What is this large metal device next to a fireplace at a house in Wyoming? It seems to have something to do with heating or cooking, but I have never seen anything like it. It has two large wheels on it, which spin an inner orb, in which you can place things through a sliding vent. You can close the outer shell as well. The bottom compartment opens up to a tray that looks like it might catch or contain ash. Does anyone have any idea what this is? It's an antique coffee roaster, operated by a Stirling engine. Devices of this kind using a hot air engine as a prime mover for coffee roasting were made in those days, prior to World War I. This was made by a French company, H. Alliot, in Paris. The manufacturer of the engines was the German company of Hubertus Raab in Saxony, Germany. A Stirling engine is a heat engine that is operated by the cyclic expansion and contraction of air or other gas by exposing it to different temperatures, resulting in a net conversion of heat energy to mechanical work. What is this mystery farming hand tool? I wondered about this for a few years now. The only markings are 1078 and 1079. The bolt moves the pivot point, and it has a smooth anvil and a hook. My only guess is a spring puller of some kind. Any ideas? That is a tool used by a farrier to remove old horseshoes. The hooked end goes on the shoe, and the flat end goes on the hoof. It's rare that I can't find the exact item online, but a wallet that says bills is just ironic. What are these yellow metallic grids found on many street posts in Philly? It looks like a sheet with a grid of rectangles punched out. On some others, far fewer, there are black rectangles instead of empty space. They are located maybe about 18 to 24 inches from the ground. Any ideas? They are reflectors, so that drivers won't crash into poles and cause power outages. It has the ability to work with a lot of different angles by that waffle design. Since 2007, the Philadelphia Electric Company has been installing the reflective grids as poles are inspected every 10 years. About half of their 400,000 poles have them so far. Here's a fun fact. They were originally a waste product from a reflective marker company. They would be stamped out in sheets by the thousands, and the ribbon would be thrown away. The company decided to find a use for the product and cut it into squares and used it as a reflective marker on construction fences for visibility at night. They tweaked the design, allowing larger gaps for the grid to make it last longer. And voila! Zero waste. Source? I build power lines in Philly. What is this thing found in the shed? It's heavy, it looks to be handmade, and about the size of a watering can. The shed owner worked in landscaping, beekeeping, and pest management, so it may be something to do with chemicals, but he also has had many jobs over the years, and didn't throw much away. To be fair, it just seems like a heavy awkward funnel watering can thing, but I have no idea. Thanks heaps in advance. It's a mid-century galvanized oil can, a canister for filling farm equipment with gasoline. They attach a tube to the spout, which could easily have gotten lost over the years. I guess a funnel would help too. What is this thing about 4 inches high? The lever lifts up and can be unwound from a metal cylinder that is leather covered and has a company name on it. The base of the cylinder is covered in felt. The diameter is nearly 1 inch, and it would not fit into a regular wine bottle, I've checked. Any ideas are appreciated. It's a reusable lever-actuated bottle stopper, more likely for a personal decanter. Forster's was acquired in 1968, so at the youngest, this would be almost 70 years old and no longer pliable. Here's some on Amazon with rubber sleeves. The way these work is that when you lower the metal arm, it pulls the base and shortens the overall length. This causes the leather to bow out, sealing the bottle. Yours may not work because the mechanism is broken, or the leather has aged to the point where it will not flex. I found 10 of these in my granddad's house. He's 88 years old, he was an electrical engineer, and he dealt with film and equipment components. Not very helpful, but that's all I know as he passed away a few years ago. Roughly 6.5 kilograms, Height is 17 inches, width is 12 inches, depth of 5 inches, and the gap between uprights is 2 inches. I'm from the UK. I usually use centimeters and kilograms. However, this piece of equipment lined up perfectly with inches. What is this used for? It's a reel rack for feeding film into a film editing splicer.
In Hollywood, the film editor's job is to separate the wheat from the corn.
When you see the Oscar being awarded for film editing, this picture shows how it was done old school, by cutting and splicing film from multiple source reels, held on your device, into a single edited film. It's also used for hi-fi sound tape. I've used similar models for 16mm film editing. What is this metallic cylinder which can be opened and has a push button at the top? There's a small hole, and when you look through it, it's just hollow with nothing at the end. It says, "An original product" on the part, which I'm guessing is a button, as it can be pushed down. I have searched for metal objects in drinks cupboards, metal cylinders, etc., with no results. Does anyone know what it is? It's a Chadwick battery-powered eraser. Very useful for drafting, with precise erasing without disturbing nearby lines too much. It's basically a drill with an eraser tip. I still have one from when drafting was a thing. You would hang it from a spring-loaded swing arm like they use on desk lamps, so you just reach up, grab it and pull it down, erase and let go. What is this hollow brass walking stick with a spring-loaded spike at the bottom? Approximately 28 inches long, and it is made of brass throughout. The top and bottom unscrewed, and the top cap has an O-ring seal. Presumably, a liquid was meant to go inside, or something else, to flow out of the stick and to the end. It has some age, and I would guess it's late 19th century. We have guessed at some sort of oiler, seed drill, or even a drug delivery system for animals. But no amount of searches have found anything similar. I think the only way we are going to find out what this thing was used for is to find someone who has actually used one. Can anyone help? It's a rare weed killer, dating from the early 1900s to 1934. The weed killer is poured in at the top and injected with a hollow spike. Back in the day, there weren't herbicides that worked selectively. Like, you couldn't just spray your whole lawn and have the grass be fine. So to remove stuff like dandelions, you'd apply a broad-spectrum herbicide directly to the root system and wouldn't harm the much shallower growing grass. I found these in my great-grandfather's toolbox. He lived in Giorgio, California, and his dad was the foreman for the big farm out there. There is a piece of metal riveted to a piece of leather, it has a belt or strap on it, and the U-shape is a blade. The writing says Dr. S. Robinson, Fresno, California, and patented applied for. My first guess was, since it is patented by a doctor, maybe a splint for a broken big toe or thumb, until I realized they have blades on them. Any ideas? Please let us know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.